So. Hey there everyone, it's Ed here from Bunch of Swines again. Hope you're doing well. This week we're going to have a look at cooking pork belly, or as the Americans call it, bacon, even though it's not cured. But we're going to cook this nice piece of pork belly here with the skin on, and we're going to look at how we can get crackling. Basically I got a message in the week from a friend of mine saying, sending me this video of these guys in China kind of hanging pork bellies over a charcoal fire, and kind of got me wondering, is that something that I can do with the a gateway drum smoker and the rib hanger kit that we have in that as well? So I thought I'd give it a try. With this pork belly here, what we've done is we actually air dried it overnight, and then we have basically taken a metal skewer and pierced tons of loads and loads of holes in it. And when you sort of you just want some kind of metal skewer. I use started using a bit of an old thermopen I had, or even like a corn on the cob holder or something like that. And the idea is to put loads and loads of little holes going all the way through the skin, because that's going to help it blister and help it crackle. And then after we've done that, we've actually put a bit of salt over the top, and that's really just helping to, that will help it crispen up for us. So I've got my pork belly here. I haven't done anything to the underneath yet. What we're going to do is just flip it over so we can put some rub onto the meat side like we normally would. Then we're going to put some hooks in there. And then once we've got the hooks in it, we can get the drum ready and we can start looking at how we're going to hang it. So I'm probably going to hook this up first. So I'm just going to go and grab some hooks quickly. So I'm just going to use a couple of hooks to hang the pork belly with. This means I can hang it straight over an open fire, really get some nice, hopefully some nice crisping on it. The gateway hooks, the hooks that come with the rib hanger, tend to have a bit of a kink and an offset. Where I want to use two hooks to kind of secure this and make sure that I don't end up with a pork belly in the fire. I just want to quickly, I just want to use these ones where they're horizontal like this. It means I'll be able to hook it, the two hooks, and have the meat sort of hanging off it in a certain way. So I'm going to do it so I've got the. I'm going to take the meat and the hook. I'm going to hook through with the skin that way. Basically, I want it so I can hang it with the skin facing towards the fire. I'm kind of guessing that's going to give me a bit of extra heat, a bit of extra sizzle, and hopefully that's going to help crisp up this skin. So, okay. So there we go. I mean, it takes a bit of effort to get the hooks in, and you want to be careful not to stab yourself in the hand. But you can see I've got my hooks like that, so I can hang it over the rib hanger, and it will sit nicely in the cooker. I'm just going to flip this over onto the meat side. As we've got it out, before we get it onto the drum, I just want to put a bit of seasoning on there, a bit of barbecue rub, just so we have some additional flavour going into it. So. Today I'm just going to use a bit of Simran Doc's sweet rib rub, and just a bit of a liberal coating over the top of the pork belly. I do want to try and keep the skin clean as much as possible. So I'm just going over the meat side. I'm not going to do the sides or the edges or anything like that. I'm just going over the meat, as it were. So. There we go. And that, so now I'm just going to leave that alone. That's going to sit there and sweat for a bit. And then we're going to get the gateway drum fired up. Okay, our gateway drum is now pretty much at temperature. We're just going to be aiming for about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm just going to put this block of wood in, just so we get a nice bit of smoke flavour into our pork belly. Just chuck it in like that. Didn't quite get it where I wanted it, so I'm just going to shuffle it across. There we go. And what I've done on the, so what I've actually done on the drum here is I've actually blocked off half of the fire basket, basically with a sheet of foil, just to make sure that I have less heat directly over this side, and also to stop some of that fat dripping in. So I'm just going to put this straight into the drum. So I'm just going to put this straight in here, and like I said, I was going to hang it. So I've got the skin side facing towards the flame, and all of that. So I'm just going to close the lid now and see how that cooks. So now that we've got our pork belly on, we're just going to leave this to run now. We're going to cook this at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll probably check it in about an hour, see how it's going then, and if we need to do anything. But other than that, we're just going to leave it cooking. Hopefully we'll start seeing this skin start popping and crackling up nicely, which is what we're aiming for. And if not, I've got a few tips on how we can get that when we finish it off anyway. So we'll come back in a bit. Okay, our pork belly has been on for about 2.5 hours now. We're just going to quickly open this up, take the pork belly off. What I want to do is just sort of leave it on the side to rest, because I can see the skin hasn't quite crisped up to the level that I want. I want it quite crackling. It's still a bit soft on the outside. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open the vents fully on the gateway drum. We're going to get this thing up to about 450 degrees Fahrenheit, and then once we've got it up to 450, we're going to put the pork belly back on, and I'm hoping that additional heat will then help us blister this skin and get it nice and crispy, which is what we're looking for. So we're just going to leave the vents wide open right now. We're going to get this thing really super hot, and then we'll come back and put the pork belly on. Okay, our gateway is now well into the red. You can see we're just getting over to the 450 mark. So now we've got this running really hot. We're going to put this pork belly back on. Again, I'm still hanging this. So the idea being that running at this extra high temperature is just going to help us sort of start blistering the skin. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it in there probably for another half an hour or so, and hopefully we'll start seeing the skin start to really blister, and get that nice airy sort of crunchy crackling that what's the point in pork belly if you haven't got it? So we're going to come back in a bit. Hopefully it will be good, and if not, we will look at how we can sort of force that thing to happen. So.
Just for the corners, it doesn't actually get that do that again.
So the pork belly has been on. We've kept the drum really hot. We left it on for about half an hour, but we didn't quite get the crackling we wanted, or the blistering. It had gone really nice and hard, but I wanted to try and get a bit more. So what I've actually done is taken the rib hanger out, put the cooking grate not on the top level, but on the middle. The idea that's going to get me a bit closer to the fire, and hopefully we will have some nice crispy skin. So I've just got to get this. There we go. Oh. Whoa. Really hot. But there you go. You can see now, we've got our pork belly cooked on the drum. You can see the skin's lovely blistered. So I'm just going to leave that a second because it's way too hot for me to handle. I'm just going to try and take the hooks out, okay, and then we'll look at slicing into this, okay. But you can kind of hear that nice hollowness coming from the crackling. So we've got really nice blistering on this, which is great. So cutting into the pork belly, I am just going to get straight into it. Cutting into the pork belly, I do like to use a serrated knife, as it helps me basically saw through the crackling. And we're just going to go, just like that. Okay. You can just hear that slicing through nicely. That's exactly how I would like the crackling to be. you know, and I've got a nice even amount of crackling. So, you know, putting those holes in, you know, salting it up has really helped, as well as the high heat has really helped get it perfect. So, yeah, you can actually see there, you know, in that bit where it's just almost turned like honeycomb in the center of that. So, I'm just going to move these around so I can then just start slicing these up into, you know, into little pieces. I mean, you could quite easily serve it up, you know, as slices like this, but, you know, I like to just throw it together as like little cubes. Yeah, but this way we've got, yeah, you can see, you know, nice bark, nice smoke ring, tender and juicy meat, the fat's rendered, and we've got crackling. That's what pork belly is all about for me. So, again, just cutting straight through this, nice and easy. And just plop that all in there and go. So, I mean, it's really nice as I'm cutting this. I can feel, you know, how nice and soft and tender the meat is, as well as how crispy the crackling is. So. Okay. And then, you know, I put these all in this foil tray here. All I'm going to do, so in this jar I've got a mix of Blues Hog Original and Blues Hog Tennessee Red, basically a 50-50 mix. I'm just going to pour this straight over the pork belly, okay? And I'm just going to toss this through just so it gives it a nice, you know, a nice coating. You know, the Blues Hog Tennessee Red has got quite a lot of vinegar, which helps cut through the richness of the pork belly. And, you know, I just like the taste of Blues Hog Original. So I'm going to take this bit here. Oh, actually, there we go. You can see here I've got a piece just of the crackling. Oh, wow, that is you know, perfect crackling. You know, none of it's sticking or anything like that. You know, I'm not breaking my teeth on it. It just crisps, you know, crunches really nicely. I'm just going to go for this with the whole one. Wow. Really good. Really good. So, I mean, hopefully you're able to hear that crispiness, that crunch that's coming through from the pork belly. So, I mean, there we go. That's how we, you know, how we like to cook a pork belly on a Gateway drum smoker. So, you know, we started off hanging the pork belly at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, kind of let it go and get really cooked and get the smoke in there. And then really, you know, to finish it off, you just got to crank that temperature right up. I probably would, when I was cranking up, I think it's probably better if you just go straight skin down. So even if you're cooking on like a Weber Smoky Mountain or a Pro Q, like a bullet smoker, you know, if you take your water pan out, once you've got it cooked through and got it rendered off a bit, and then leave it on that second level, you know, that lower level, just over the fire, that's going to really help you get the crispiness and you know, that crackling to come out. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you've enjoyed that. We're going to sit here and we're going to eat these for lunch. And yeah, you know, we'll see you again on another video.